these two mayoral candidates aren't going to affect it. You know what's going to affect us? Us. We have to begin to see the illness in ourselves and begin to affect the change. I'm driving down, and you're driving through the city, and either you see a car, somebody can easily just throw a McDonald's or a Church's chicken bag right out the window with its contents, just because they don't want the litter in their car. Or you'll see kids, I see them all the time, from the high school or from the elementary school, walking down the street with a soda can or a bag of chips when they're finished. Throw it down. And I see adults doing this, and this is every week, adults doing the same thing. Just throw it like it's nothing. Now I don't know if y'all, sometimes when I have like too much trash in my house, or if I'm, buying something and you got all these boxes or whatever, I take stuff to the Montgomery County dump, okay? And what's very interesting is I had never been there before. When we moved into our most recent house, we had some workers in here, and this guy turned me on to this place, where you dump all your stuff. I didn't even know about it. And it's really cool, but it's like you drive your car in this big old giant warehouse full of garbage, and you just dump the stuff out, and it doesn't hardly cost but a couple of bucks. It's almost kind of fun on a day off. Just go around the garage and what can I throw away? But what it's like is, though, as I took my daughter there once, I didn't have her get out of the car, but I just wanted her to see this because it just blew me away. And what it's like is you're driving inside a big old giant dumpster. And then it's like you get out of your car in the dumpster and you're throwing trash in the dumpster, and then you drive out of the dumpster. So that's the feeling I get. You know what a dumpster is, right? So it's almost like you go inside the dumpster to empty all the stuff out of the, I have a truck, to empty all the stuff out of the back of my truck. And then we drive out of the dumpster and pay the people and go on about our way. And the trash can. And so when I see the young people and even adults just throwing garbage in the street, it's like they see their neighborhood as a big dumpster, as a big garbage can. They're living in a garbage can. If you can just take garbage and just drop it and toss it right where you're standing, in your own mind, in your own mind's perception of your neighborhood, the environment that you live, you're living in a garbage can, or you couldn't do that. And what I'm suggesting today, if you are living in a garbage can, what exactly are you considering yourself? What lives in a garbage can? Would you eat out of a garbage can? Would you eat out of a dumpster? Why? Because you got little living nasty organisms in there that are actually thriving. That is exactly their environment. That's where they live. So if you feel like you live in it, if you can litter, if you can throw garbage on the ground in your neighborhood, you feel like you're living in a garbage can, you're that organism in the garbage can. We have to begin to see ourselves as more than that organism that lives in the garbage can. And in order to see ourselves as more than that organism that lives in the garbage can, we have to take ourselves out of living in the garbage can. The only way we can do that is by stop littering, okay? Come on. To me, that's so symbolic, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. And the only reason the kids are doing it is because they've seen the older folks do it. Dumping stuff, throwing stuff out the window. I don't care if it's a gum wrapper or if it's a bag of food that you don't want from a drive-through that you just went through. What message are you sending to your children? Come on now. See, we're the ones. It doesn't have anything to do with the politicians anymore. We've proved that. We have a black president. We've had one for over 4 years. Has your life changed? No, it hasn't changed. He ain't done it. What's he supposed to do for you? All I'm saying is, it doesn't. What we have proven with Barack Obama being in office, if your life hasn't changed, then he ain't the one to change it. It's up to you. You have to change it. Man, I'm not a far right person. I'm not even a right person. I'm not the GOP. I'm not a Republican. I don't really consider myself Democrat. I wasn't really involved in the process until Obama was running. And my point for Obama was simply that young black kids. See, some of you know I'm a minister. I've been a minister in this community for like 25 years or so. Okay? Almost 25 years. And 17 of those in outreach, in the prison systems, in the juvenile systems. I was a pastor here, a staff pastor in a large local multicultural church for like 16 years, an elder for 8 and a pastor for 8. And so, but my primary focus was like outreach into the communities. And you know, I've come to the point now, at this particular point, as I walk through the communities, it's like this close from being hopeless. Like things aren't going to change. Because see, we had a civil rights movement. I mean, we had a lot of people suffering. You know, after emancipation, all the way through a lot of persecution and killings and murders and lynchings and Jim Crow and all kinds of mess, all the way through this, when people getting in the 50s and 60s, getting beat and tortured and killed and all. You know, culminating, you know, with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Bobby Kennedy and all that stuff. That the change, the needed impact in the lives of other folks outside of the African community has been accomplished. It's been done. I'm not saying racism has been totally eliminated. I'm saying the racism that can adversely affect you if you don't want it to, that racism has been eliminated. We have an African American president. The type of racism black folks went through 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and beyond, that doesn't exist anymore. The only racism that can hamper you from being greater than the situation that you are living in right now is the racism that you allow. It's almost like a sickness, like the common cold, or a sickness like polio, or a sickness, you know, that we have control over, that we have total control over certain kinds of diseases. If you catch that disease, it's because you want that disease. It's sort of like that old trash can syndrome. You don't have to live in a trash can. Our neighborhoods are clean. The city pays people to clean the stuff. Our neighborhoods should be clean. If you're living in a nasty neighborhood, you made it nasty. It wasn't racism. It wasn't the white man. It wasn't anything but you. It's your neighborhood. If you're in a situation where you ain't got no job, your situation's jacked, and your kids are having trouble in school, and you're getting high, you caused that situation. That's all I'm saying. You know, and I take issue with folks on the right, and I'm always defending folks on welfare. I'm always defending folks that are on government, you know, assistance and all, because it's necessary sometimes. But you know, if you got 2 arms and 2 legs, if you're on some kind of assistance and you're getting high, you're the reason your situation is jacked. You're the reason your kids are jacked. You're the reason your community's jacked. You can't blame anybody but yourself. That is the simple reality. Now the fact is, if I'm sitting there with a white guy and he's arguing what I just said, I'd probably find a way to argue against him. I say, well, there's a whole lot of people in Appalachia, you know, on welfare. There's a whole lot of people in Appalachia and getting money for drugs, actually getting drugs through the system in Appalachia. I mean, that's the argument. I have to argue with these white folks because they're seeing you and they're thinking you're the only ones doing it. But that doesn't exonerate you. If you're not doing right, we just have to start doing right. Look at our kids. Look at our situations. Our kids are dying. Our kids are being killed. Our kids are killing other folks. Our kids are driving crazy, having accidents, killing folks, killing themselves. A couple of kids on a motorcycle racing just a couple of days ago, hit a dump truck, pulled out the street over on McCall. One's dead, one got his leg severed. Now what were they doing? What they shouldn't have been doing. You seen these kids, these people out here, the way they drive? And so these are our folks. These are our kids. We got nobody to blame but ourselves. And it's time to straighten up. It's time, even as adults, to begin. We got to put away the alcohol. We got to put away the weed. We got to stop doing the destructive things that are sending the wrong messages to our children, because they're following in our footsteps. They're just ratcheting it up to a little bit higher level. But their ills, their deaths, the issues that they have created, and the turmoil and pain that they have created in the lives of other black folks and other families, that blood is on your hands. If you're at home getting high, getting a buzz, breaking the law, doing stuff in front of them, and then your kid does something illegal and hard, that blood is on your hands. It's time we need to take responsibility. We've been blaming the white man, blaming the system, blaming this, blaming all these things, and we're the culprits. As black folks, we need to just start doing right. We need to stop breaking the law. We just need to stop breaking the law. Now we've seen now with this Boston bomber, man, we're coming into a time and era where the police have stuff. We just need to start doing right. They're going to find you. You're going to get caught. And then you got a record, or your kid has a record at a young age, and they'll never get a normal job, so they're always going to be poor. We just need to start doing right. It's time. We have a black president, elected twice. So that's an example to us that type of racism that our forefathers went through is gone. The suffering that we're going through today is the suffering we bring on ourselves. The pain and suffering our kids go through is the suffering. That blood is on our hands, and we're breaking the law in front of their eyes. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because we have validated that breaking the law is okay. That's wrong. Whew, man, I'm getting my blood pressure up on this one. Now, what I'm suggesting today is that, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I've never done any of these things that we're talking about. I think we're all culprits. But there has to come a time in our lives where we just have to wake up, and the sooner the better. My life, your life, it's what I see, it's like a process, okay? And the things that have happened, whatever you've done, the things that may not have been right, and the things that have been right, all the situations that you have participated in and have been exposed to, have made you who you are today, including this program. And hopefully this program, if your life has been on the wrong track or on a negative track, or on an illegal track, that this program will be the culmination of that, which will help you put it all together and recognize that you've been going the wrong way. But now, to go the right way, you have a unique insight. You have a unique perspective that people that never went the wrong way don't have. And I'm suggesting today, it's time to stop. It's time to turn around. It's time to take all the experiences that you've had, all the negative exposures, and even the negative actions that you may have participated in, and turn them around and use them for a good as an example to young people on what not to be. Not the example. Shoot, man. Come on. I mean, we're going, it's like 2013 right now. Halfway through almost. Time is almost like it's going so fast. Where are you going to be? Where are your kids going to be? Where are their kids going to be? I know, we look at our lives and maybe we look at our parents and we'll say, well, I know I got some of my bad habits from them, or maybe they got some of their bad habits from their parents. But where along this line are we going to stop? Are we going to stop the curse and turn this thing around? Let it stop with you. Take a look at your kids. Take a look at your grandkids. Sometimes when you look at them, you can begin to see a little bit, if they've been around for a little while, you can see a little bit of yourself in them. And sometimes we might laugh at, oh, he's just like his daddy, or he's just like that. But that is not a good thing sometimes. Sometimes I tell parents, that some of the heartaches, and I mean, when you really sit back in your quiet time and think about some of the pains and heartaches and disappointments in your life, is that really what you want for your kids? Do you really want them to be like you? I mean, really? I don't think so. I was really blessed, that my son graduated from UC last year in June and has a job that he's making more money than I'm making. I just got my associate degree last year. I didn't want to be too much smarter than me. But I mean, that's what we want. And hopefully, I want, when he finally has kids, that he wants his kids to be more successful than him, and then their kids to be more successful. I got my daughter right now. We got her on a track. She'll only be 8, as a matter of fact, tomorrow. But we got her on a track that she knows she's going to college. I knew I was going to boot camp when I got out of school. I mean, that's where my mindset was. But now I have my children in a level better than I was. And hopefully, whatever better than what they do, hopefully their children will be on another level. And some of the people that we look at now, when we look at the owners of the company and our bosses and their kids and that's what my grandkids are going to be like. And that's what we need to do. It's like the relay race, and we're running it with that baton. And if you really think about it, if you consider the relay race, we see it now when we go to a school or a college and we see them running around a track. But when you go back to like ancient Greece, it was like one long stretch, okay? And so you had point A here. It didn't go around a track. It was like for miles. So the relay was passed to this gentleman, and then he went further. And then when he got to a particular point, he passed the baton line, and he went further. That's what we're trying to get our kids to do, this relay race where our kids are going to be higher and higher and higher and better off than we are today. But if we're just screwing up, if we're just getting high and getting drunk every night, we're giving them no example on how, they have no clue on how to be better. And when they commit crimes when they're young teens, they've already sealed their fate for the rest of their lives. Come on now. You do have some younger ones. It may not be too late. Change yourself. Be good. Be an example. For real. And women, I don't know. You need to be a little bit more picky. If you're a little bit more picky, your daughter's going to be a little bit more picky. I'll just leave it at that so I don't piss anybody off too much. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. I got to go.